Hi, I'm Eric Schoenfeld, co-editor of TechCrunch.
And I'm John Biggs, editor of Crunch Gear.
And this is Fly or Die.
So today, this is Gadget Show at Fly or Die. Today we have two gadgets, and the first one we're talking about is this Toshiba portable monitor. So this is a USB-powered monitor. It uses DisplayLink technology, so you don't actually have to have a charger or anything connected to it. So you could have a second monitor. So for example, what you can do is you can drag other stuff out over to it, and you could have your main monitor running this, and you could have a second monitor showing something else. The value is that if you're doing something like financials or something, you need an RSS feed, or you need a feed of data, or you could watch TV on the second monitor, or you could do a presentation on the second monitor. So you could set up a keynote presentation over here and a presentation over here, and watch them both.
And this thing is only Windows, right?
This is Windows only right now. And
it's a touchscreen?
No, not touchscreen.
Not touchscreen. Okay, Die.
Die? You don't like it?
It's not a touchscreen, and if I want to have another monitor with me, I've got this. I can have presentations on this, and this is actually much better, I think. A tablet, whether it's an iPad or a Android, I think is much better either in a meeting situation or sitting one by one. This seems kind of bulky and kind of clunky. I mean,
well,
yes,
really
it is pretty light for a monitor, but it's not competing with this. It's competing with this. And I mean, for $200 versus $500, I'd rather get a fully functioning computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
On my end, I'm saying Fly just for very, very specific niche uses.
But what do you have here? Now this looks kind of cool.
Unplug that thing on the side there. All right, so what we have here is a HP 610 TouchSmart All In PC. So let's start up the old TouchSmart application stuff, and we'll show people how you can use this. It's very exciting. So you have all these images and things. You can browse your pictures. You can make them bigger.
This is a touchscreen. Okay.
Yeah. So you notice you have a butterfly down there.
But I can't make it bigger.
This starts at about $8.99. There are a bunch of things on here. You can have a TV tuner, sometimes built in if you buy the right one.
Go back. Sorry.
And if you don't know what you're doing, you can mess it up.
Okay, so you can use this as a TV screen and obviously to watch streaming movies.
It's an all-in-one PC.
See photos, all that kind of stuff. And then the PC is basically back here. It's like a one-piece PC.
Yeah, it's all in one. And it comes with this this handsome keyboard.
Bluetooth keyboard.
And actually you also get a very exciting remote control here, so you can actually watch TV.
Yeah. I'm still a little bit skeptical about how much you'd actually use the touch screen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a big screen like that is sort of a sit-back experience, or it's something at a keyboard. But I can see for certain, in some instances, it's nice to be able to come up here and maybe you're doing a demonstration, or even if you're doing a slideshow for your family, which, yeah, we do that all the time. I could see using it if you had it somewhere that it was in sort of a living room type of situation. But I still think that, the problem with the touchscreen, and I think they try to fix this, right, is
you can lift it up and you can flatten it.
You can move it. The problem with big touchscreens is that you really get tired if your arm is up. And I think this is supposed to kind of is supposed to address that. I'm not convinced that everything needs to be a touch screen.
Well, knowing that this thing is going to be touched by human hands almost constantly, this thing is going to get nasty.
It's going to get pretty nasty.
It's a glossy screen. I'm interested in the idea of large form touch screens like this. I'm not convinced that this is the form factor that people want.
So are you giving this a fly or a die?
I'm giving it a die, and I've been giving all of these things a die all throughout their life cycle. It's very, very interesting. It's kind of it's a really cool computer as itself, but for the TouchSmart features, I don't think they're really going to win here. Yeah,
I look at this almost as you want a big computer, and either you're going to go with, if you're an Apple person, you can go with an iMac, which isn't a touchscreen, or if you're a Windows person, why not get something like this that also has the touchscreen capabilities?
This is like an afterthought.
Right, but the question is, are you actually going to use the touchscreen features, or are you just going to use it like a regular computer?
Yeah.
And I don't know that it matters at the price that they're doing it, but if you think about just the touchscreen capability, I think that feature is still, they still haven't quite gotten it yet. It's still a die for me.
I work for HP in the product marketing group, and I'm happy to say that I'm one of the fathers of this baby that we just released on the market, and I'm very proud to be so. But I think one thing that we really wanted to highlight was the fact that you are absolutely right. Using a touchscreen can get tiring in normal circumstances when the screen is vertical. So what we're trying here, and we're seeing that people are resonating with it, is let's lean the screen backwards to a 60-degree angle and have the whole family gather around the screen and interface with those applications.
So it becomes almost like a Surface tablet table in certain instances.
Yeah, but I hesitate to go that far because we're not doing a 90-degree, and we did that on purpose because we just don't see people carrying around a 23-inch screen around the house.
Well, you've had this TocuhSmart line for what, at least a year, maybe, right? When did the first products come out in the market?
Good question. Actually, it's been 4 years.
4 years, okay. And just give us a sense of how is the product line doing as a whole?
So I'll give you a bit of a peek in the future. You will see us becoming much more aggressive in the deployment of touch, leveraging that TouchSmart software that we have in there. And definitely for us in all-in-ones, we will be growing the touch offering.
And I guess the big debate here is, obviously on mobile devices, on tablets and smartphones, touch has proven to be the new sort of computing paradigm. And the question still in my mind is, does that translate over to this big screen, or is the majority of our interactions with these big screen computers still relegated to mouse and keyboard?
That is a very good question. I think what you're asking indirectly, if I may put it this way, is another question, which is how do you complete the value equation between a mobile device and a non-mobile device, both of them being touch-enabled? And I can share with you that right now I believe it is a pain point in the industry. I don't think we've created that perfect interaction between these devices so that you can switch from one to the other and have that touch experience just become the same across the platform.
I think my major concern with the touch devices, especially the TouchSmart line, and I've followed this for quite a while. I mean, you basically have this the actual Windows experience that you use the mouse and keyboard, and then you have this this Microsoft Bob experience that's really sort of a dumbed down UI that has sort of triggers and things that will launch things inside the experience, but you really don't have a full integrated system. You think Windows 8 will improve that, or what's your goal in terms of? Or
will WebOS save you guys?
Good question, Josh. If you don't mind, I'm going to be a little bit dodging the bullet here. I won't reveal too much about Windows 8. I'll leave that to the Microsoft guys. All I can say is that definitely it has been identified. I think it's something that we need to improve overall in the industry. I don't expect I'm the only one who will address it, but it's something that everybody will be working on.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us, Xavier. And I am a big fan of touch, and I'm glad that you guys, keep on trying to improve it and figure out, what's going to work.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, so the last item is Bloomberg Businessweek's new iPad app, and it's basically just the magazine in an iPad app, and it's perfectly serviceable. You have all the stories in the issue, and it taps into the new subscription, iTunes subscriptions, $2.99 a month, and you get every issue. And you can search through back issues. You can only search through the issues that you've subscribed to, and you have all of your stories. You can save them and archive them, and then they have the one cool thing I think is that you can get some market data from Bloomberg and Bloomberg headlines, which sort of pop in, and that sort of makes it more up to date. So it's perfectly fine, but I was a little bit disappointed with this because I think that actually some of the most interesting stuff on Bloomberg is on the online site, and some of that is in the magazine, some of it isn't, and they're really not. They're not leveraging that. So, like when I do a search, I don't get all Bloomberg.
Well, you have to remember that the Bloomberg site, generally that's a little more expensive than actually the Businessweek. They're basically they're building walls around their
I'm talking about
content.
the Businessweek site.
Okay.
Right? So I'm saying that the Businessweek site should be available on here, but they decided to do sort of just like, this is just the digital magazine, and this is a digital version of the magazine, and it's fine. But it doesn't blow me away. And maybe some people like the simplicity of it. And
I guess that's the question. I mean, how are these magazines? And we're seeing multiple magazines. We're seeing the Daily. We're seeing this. We're seeing the Onion, All these
Right.
guys are trying to get iPad apps out.
But at
Is
least
this,
at daily, I mean, at least they have, well, it's content that's only available on iPad, and a lot of these other magazine apps, they have special content. I mean, even here, they don't take advantage of their photos. I mean, you can look at the photo, but there's no, they don't take advantage of the fact that you could have like a whole photo slideshow, or video. They have like one video of the editors talking about how they decided the cover.
well, the question is, would you buy this consistently over the months?
No, I wouldn't. The thing that I have with the problem I have with this is that this was really built for advertisers, not for readers. And it was built for print subscribers who maybe want to move to digital and want a digital version. But it doesn't really appeal to, I think, the new news reader who wants, maybe using Flipboard or some other aggregator service that they get news from all over the place.
I found it kludgy as well. It feels like each of those sections that you bring up, all the little stories down at the bottom, don't really lend themselves to browsing or reading or really enjoying the magazine. I mean, I used to enjoy Businessweek more when it had in its old design, and this is really turned me off. So I'm really not excited about this app.
Right, and they're not even taking advantage of. It's just like a JPEG or a PDF of the image. There's no interactive elements. So I mean, it's not going to die. It's going to do fine, and it'll create a new revenue stream for them. But
They could have done it better.
they could have done it much better. And just on principle, I'm going to give it a die.
All right.
Okay, what are you going to give it?
I'm giving it a die as well.
All right, 3 dies. Wow. Maybe next time we'll find something we like. Thanks for joining us this week.